Real quick, before we get too far into this, I did want to mention, and I wanted to thank Synology for sending the MR2200AC to me. They did send me the unit. They are not paying me for this. They are not monitoring or editing the content, and I just wanted to let you know. And I did want to thank Synology for sending these routers out to me to do videos on, and also no technology was harmed in the recording of this video. Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And what we are going to do today is we are going to unbox this. This is the Synology MR2200AC. This is their new mesh router. It's completely different than anything we've seen from Synology. It can be hardwired, or you can set it up to be a mesh router. So let's take a look at what's in the box here. Okay, so once again, this is the Synology MR2200AC. We will take this out of the box here. So the first thing you get, obviously, is the router. Comes in, looks like a router diaper. We got a little sticker here that says Synology, but it looks like they sent this thing in. It's nice. I'm just messing around. It's just the foam that it comes in. We don't need this. So here is the unit itself, and it's that same familiar plastic that the Synology units are made out of. That nice black plastic. It's got here on the bottom. It's got some nice rubber feet, so it can sit. It can sit like this. So it sits straight up and down. On the back here, we've got a USB. We've got the WPS button here. We've got the Wi-Fi button here. LAN, WAN, power plug, power button, and then a reset button over here. So that's the unit in a nutshell. And let's see, we've got a quick install guide, and there is A and B. I don't know if you can see that on here, A and B. A is to create a new network, or B is to extend a network. So we are going to take a look at both of these. We're going to look at option A and option B, and what else is in the box here. We've got the power adapter, and then we have an Ethernet cable. So let's take this bad boy over to the computer. Let's plug in, fire it up, and get started. All right, so we're over here at the computer. Like I said, on the quick start guide, we've got option A, option B. Option A is to create a new network. Option B is to extend an existing network. So if we're going to do option A, if you look at the instructions, it's just like setting up a router. There's a few different options. We are going to go ahead. We're going to do like this AO1, which is where we plug our computer into the router. We plug the router into WAN port, and we will kind of go from there. Now, the other option is you can use the app, and you can connect directly to the SSID that they have, and then you follow the wizard, you know, they're talking about from a laptop, from a desktop. And then B is how we're actually going to do the mesh. So I'm going to split this into two videos. So this first video is we are going to do it hardwired. We're going to look at the options that we have in the router, and then the second video is where we will do the wireless mesh, just because I don't want the video to run too long. And just so you know, it will be this video, and then I have the Netgear video for the Netgear switch, and then you will see the other part of the Synology, and there may be something sprinkled in there, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to take the router, and we're going to go ahead and get it plugged in, and I have a pile of routers over here. I have a USG and an Edge Router X, and then I have my pfSense box right here. So this is just going to go into the pile here. It is going to get plugged into I'm going to plug it into the Edge Router X because it has internet and it is not on the 192.168. This will create on the LAN side 192.168. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get all of this plugged in, and then we're going to open this up. So we'll be right back. All right, so we've got everything plugged in here. I actually need to re-terminate the cable for my machine, but now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to power it on, and on the front we've got a blue light that indicates that we are booting. That's fantastic. So we're going to give this a couple minutes to boot up, let my machine get an IP, and then we're going to check this router out, and we're going to see what the capabilities are. So we will be right back. Okay, so my machine got an IP address. We opened up our web browser, went to 192.168.1.1. Comes up, it says getting the system ready. Firefox gives us this notice at the top that says you must log into this network before you can access the internet. We're going to go ahead and close that. But here it says link and share all possibilities. We're going to click start. So it wants us to set up the administrator account. Now, something that we didn't cover in the last Synology router video or any of the Synology router videos. As of the filming of this video and with the experiments that I've done in the last week and in working with customers, when you set your Synology router up, if you do not choose a different username than admin at this point right now, you can't create a second admin account and get rid of the original admin. So if you don't want to use the username admin, now is the time to change that. We are going to use admin just because I want to keep the lab computers or the lab equipment all the same. You do not have to use admin, but if you don't want to use admin, you need to change it now. And I have read, of course, everybody reads the EULA, right? All right, set up your Wi-Fi network, and we'll just call this Syno test. And I don't know if that the password's not the same. Hold on. I was thinking of what I was going to say next, and I caught myself there. Now we have that the same. Okay, so operation modes. Wireless router, wireless AP. Those are the two operation modes of this box that we get of the MR2200AC router. So what we're going to do is we are going to leave external access to SRM disabled. That's the Synology Router Manager. We're going to leave that disabled, and we're going to go ahead and click Next. We want it to be in wireless router mode first. And set up your internet connection, and right now we're going to use Auto IP. We're going to go ahead and click Apply. It says it is now setting up our Synology router. Your Synology router will be ready in 3 minutes. Please do not shut down the system during the setup. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. We're going to let it do its thing, and I will be right back. All right, so now we have this message. It says, congratulations, you've set up your Synology router. We can start managing now, or we can add Wi-Fi points so we can expand the wireless network, and we do that through the mesh. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start managing this now. And it's going to come up and it's going to ask us to log in. And you can see it's doing a little bit of DNS trickery here because it came up to router.synology.com. All right, so we've got this welcome to SRM. Talks about all the safe access. So this is all the stuff that we talked about when we did the SRM upgrade to get all of the new features that are available. I already have a Synology account, so we will register this device a little later. But we are logged in now. And it looks like under Control Panel, let's see what was installed on this as far as software goes, because I am not 100% sure. So I did click on Control Panel, didn't I? That's interesting. That is a little slow. Now, what I don't know is it because they're playing the DNS games, or is this router? You know, is this the MO? You know, for this router. All right. So we're gonna go down here to System, and you can see that this is on SRM 1.2-7742 Update 1, and it says Update 4 is now available. So we can click this. What's new? It's going to take us out to the SRM site. So this came out not that long ago, and it fixes an issue with DFS channels on the RT1900AC. Fixes an issue where Smart Connect may not 5 gigahertz. Fix an issue where 5 gigahertz might not work properly on the RT2600AC and the MR2200AC. Then there was a bunch of other fixes. Oh, same day. So it looks like 2 updates both came out on the 27th. And it looks like there is a whole lot of updates going on right there. You can read through these if you have one of these routers. So we are going to go ahead and download and update this. This is the same operation that we used before. So I'm going to go ahead and click download. It's going to download. We're going to update. Once that's done, we will be right back. All right, so we're back here. That did take a little bit of time. Looks like we've got an app update. And it looks like safe access needs an update. We will come back to that here in a little bit. Let's take a look at the network center. I just want to see. Let's see, operational modes, wireless router, wireless AP. So in wireless AP, this is where it says it's a bridge mode. All interfaces, LAN, WAN, and WLAN, are all bridged together and connect to the internet via a router. So what I don't know, and what we're going to have to test, and we'll test it in the next video, is do we get all the functionality when this thing is an access point? I don't know. Let's click on it. It doesn't give us any real good indication. We are in router mode. So what I want to know is if when we have it in wireless AP mode, because it says it's bridged, and I was told that this thing would work in bridge, or maybe I misunderstood that. We're going to test that out in the next video. But real quick, let's take a look at this. Let's see. We got our control panel. So we don't have any storage attached. If we did have, we would be able to get to the storage externally. File services. So it looks like just because the device itself is different, I'm not seeing anything in here that tells me that that this does anything different besides it. The hardware is different than, of course, the larger router, the 2600. So we'll just kind of poke around a bit here and see if we can find anything. Now, I just did this for somebody. We created the certificates manually, because you can see here that the router does not yet have Let's Encrypt. All right, so we can still do all of our notifications. All right, so here's, okay, device information. We got our serial number here, the model name. It's got a Qualcomm Dakota IPQ 4019 CPU. That CPU clock rate is running at 717 megahertz per cores. It has 4 cores. We've got 256 megs of memory. Gives us the time and date. We have no external devices. On the Synology router, under LED, you can determine whether to use the power LED only or all LED indicators. So we can turn the LED on and off. That's pretty cool. We can hook a printer to it. We can do Google Cloud Print. That's pretty nice. We can do automated reboots here. Under System, it's going to go out right now. It's checking to see if there's an SRM update, but we know that there's not because we read those release notes. System database, so this is the IP geolocation database. It says there is a newer version available. This one was established 10/10 of 2018, so we could update that. There's also a new update available for threat intelligence, Google Safe Browsing, and the domain name database. And it says automatically check for and install updates. So at some point this will go ahead and update. We should go ahead and redirect any of the HTTP. We always want to be browsing in HTTPS. That'll drive some of my colleagues that have ISPs, that'll drive them mad. They don't think that we should necessarily be encrypting all the things, but we should be encrypting all the things. We just have a difference in philosophy when it comes to that, and it is none of anyone's business what you're doing. You know, unless you're breaking a federal law, and then there are other things. Your local ISP may not even be involved in that kind of investigation. So, of course, we're going to get, you know, this is not secure, so we'll add an exception so we can log back into our router. We'll see if it automatically logs us back in or if we've got to re-authenticate. Looks like it went ahead, logged us back in there. So one thing in the last video where we were talking about these profiles, and I created one just for my kids, and then somebody said, well, what happens if your kid gets smart and changes the MAC address? And I thought, oh yeah. So somebody else actually responded to that. And by the way, I was not making fun of whoever that was. I was just doing a voice to differentiate. Somebody else responded and said, yeah, I addressed this by setting up a default policy, right? So you've got this base policy that does all of your blocking, so it doesn't matter what the MAC address is. And then you take it one step further and you build profiles on top of that for specific devices. That's an awesome idea, and that is one great way to not have to worry about your kids changing their MAC address, right? If you've got that base policy that captures everything. So you can see that we don't have any policies or anything yet created on this device. This thing is just out of the box. So it was very, very simple to set up, and it has, you know, the same packages. So of course the real advantage to this is that it is the, you know, the mesh access point is kind of what they're going after here. So come back for part 2, which is where we're going to do the mesh, and then we're also going to try that bridge mode and see if when this thing is in bridge mode, if we still get all the features. I honestly don't know the answer. We're going to do that. We're going to do that together. So that's kind of it for this video. Just kind of showing you the product, getting it set up. Video number 2. That is where we will, like I said, set this thing up in bridge mode, and we will also do a mesh connection with it. We will mesh it with the 2600AC that I've got up here. So I'm really excited about that. From what I've heard, it just works, and I haven't done it yet. We're going to do this live, not live together, but I'm going to record it. We're going to do it together. So that's it for this video. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to talk to us on Discord, the link is down below. If you need IT consulting, best practices in voice over IP, wired and wireless networking, and information security and assurance, go to williehowe.com, fill out that contact form, and someone will contact you as soon as possible. If we can't help you, our commitment to you is that we will get you to someone who can. So, we don't pretend to know everything. Not everything's in our wheelhouse. But if you need something and we can't do it, we will get you a vendor who can. If you want to buy one of these routers, I will put a link to the router Amazon link. And then we've got the link to our Amazon store down below where you can buy all the other gear that you see here. There's also links to my Patreon down there if you want to join that. So watch out, make sure that you're hitting that little bell notification so you can see this. Like I said, we got the Netgear video is coming out, and then we're going to do part 2 of this Synology series. So once again, I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.